this website, and this website are all easily worth over 10 grand to the businesses that made them because of how much revenue they bring in. These websites also happen to be created with absolutely zero code and with some strategic help from AI. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can go from no website at all to an expertly planned, written, and designed site that's easily worth over $10,000 to your business, or that you could charge clients well over 10 grand for it if you were to build it for them. And we'll do it with the help of a few really cool AI tools and with zero code needed. But first, let's get really clear on what I mean by a $10,000 website. I don't mean a crazy complicated site. I just mean a simple, beautiful site that has all the right persuasive elements, pages, and sections that are needed to turn cold traffic into hot leads, clients, and buyers. So here's what we're going to cover. First, I'm going to show you how to use a free AI tool to help you plan and write your whole site. You just tell it a bit about your business, and it's going to recommend every page and section you need to help you sell it. Then, in case you're stuck for design ideas, I'm going to show you where you can find all different kinds of design inspiration that you can just take for yourself and apply to your own site. I'll show you how you can use AI to generate unlimited beautiful images like these that you can use for free. And of course, I'm gonna show you how to use my favorite free drag and drop page builder that's gonna let you make any kind of website you can think of. So let's get to it.
So our first step here is to use a tool called reloom.io to help us come up with the basic structure of the website. Now, the way this works is really cool. You're just going to type in a little bit about your business. So I would type in something like, Bark Boss is a service that coaches dogs to be better CEOs and to have better work-life balance. So obviously this is silly, but it's just a good way to kind of show what this can do. So we're going to click on Generate from here. And right here we choose how many pages we want. So in our case, I would just say 1 to 5. I'm generally a proponent of smaller websites. I think they're generally better. I'm going to do 1 to 5 pages, keep it on English, and then generate sitemap. So what a sitemap is, it's just the overall structure of the different pages we're going to have and the different sections that are going to go on every page. Now, obviously, this is using AI to figure out what kinds of sections would be best served for this type of business. So within this sitemap, it created all the different sections that we're going to need on every page, plus all the different pages that are going to be needed to properly sell this service. And of course, you can just go, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here so we can see it better. So we have an About Us page. This is a really long About Us page. You probably don't need it to be that long. So if there's a section here you want to get rid of, like e-commerce product section, you may not need that. You would just right click, delete. If you wanted to take the customer logos section and you wanted to move it up, you can just drag it into the right place. Really easy and customizable. And if you wanted to add a section, like let's say maybe on the home page, you want to add something here, you need something specific, you would just click on the plus icon, and maybe you need like a gallery there or something. I'll just type that in, let's see what we got, and then use add a gallery in right there. So this is obviously very rough, right? Like all we're seeing is the different sections, no design, no actual words that need to be included. That is where our next tab comes into play, wireframe. So if we click that, now we can actually start seeing the rough design of the site. So let me zoom in here about 50%. And we can start to see not only is the layout coming together, it's also written some of the copy for your site, including headlines, subheadlines, little paragraphs, right? Now, it's not always going to be perfect. And in fact, if something isn't to your liking, you just right click on it. You can click on improve writing or change tone, simplify language. Like there's a lot of different things you can do to kind of make it read even better. But the cool thing is now we have a really good idea of the kind of site that we need to build. So we're just going to keep this window open in the background, but now we need to get some actual design inspiration to carry over to the finished website. Because you'll notice here, yes, we have a rough layout. We do not have any design elements. We don't have any colors or fonts or image styles, any of that good stuff. So what we want to do, we're going to stay at reloom.io, but we're going to go under community where it says showcase, and that's where we're at here. This is a really good place to come just to get some really high-end inspiration for what your site could look like. So you just want to be on the lookout for anything that jumps out to you in terms of colors or fonts or images, even layouts, right? So just keep going until you find something that appeals to you. I happen to find this site. I think it's a really nice looking site for a coach, but your inspiration can be whatever you want it to be. But I think this is just a nice professional looking treatment that I think is going to go really nicely for our dog coaching business. So once you've got your inspiration and you've got your rough wireframes, now it's time to kind of mash those two things together into your finished website. So the first thing we want to do, we have to get you set up with hosting and a domain name. And there's really no way around that, but I did manage to find some really good pricing for my favorite web host of choice called Bluehost. So if you go to wesmcdowell.com/hosting, or you can just follow the link in the description below, you'll find yourself on a page like this one. It may look different by the time you get to it, but you can see right here that there is a deal from $3.99 to $1.99 a month. This deal may change depending on when you're seeing it, but I'm just going to click on Get Started Now. And here's where you choose the plan. I'm just going to recommend basic for almost all of you. Unless you have really specific needs, this should be fine. So now they're asking if you already have a domain name or you need to buy one. So if you already have one, like yourbusinessname.com, you'd put it here, click next. If not, and you need to buy a domain name, you just type in the one that you think you want here and see if it's available. Like thebarkboss.com. You've also got all these different extensions like .net. I always recommend going with .com. It's much easier for people to remember. Click on Next. So this one's available, but if it's not, you would just try again until you find the one that is available for you. Now, obviously, you just fill out all this information. You choose your service term. I'm going to keep it on 12 months. I'm going to uncheck all of these add-ons. And so that gives us a full year of web hosting for under 24 bucks. Not bad. You just put in your payment information, and I'm going to uncheck this, and then you click on Submit. Okay, so the purchase went through and it took about a minute just to build out WordPress, and we wound up right here. So we're going to skip over all of this stuff and we're just going to go up to Exit to WordPress and click on Exit. Okay, so now we're officially inside of the WordPress dashboard. It's going to look something like this. Whatever's right here may look a little different. It changes from time to time, but as long as everything is over here on the left sidebar, you've got things like media, pages, posts, plugins, you're good to go. So the first thing we're actually going to do is add our plugin, which is going to let us build the site with no code whatsoever. And a plugin, if you've never heard the term, it's just a piece of code that you add to your site to extend its functionality. For instance, this plugin lets us build a site with no code. So we're going to go over to Plugins, Add New Plugin, and we're going to go right down here and we're going to search for Starter Templates. And this is our guy right here. We're just going to click on Install Now and on Activate. Now, we are not going to choose the AI website builder. It's not quite ready yet. I've played around with it. It doesn't work super great. So we're going to go the classic way, build with templates. This gives us all the control we need. So I'm just going to click on Build with Templates, and then I'm going to choose Elementor. Now we have all these choices of basic website templates that we can start with. And there's a lot of them here. Some are marked as premium, which you have to pay for. The rest of them are free. There's a couple that I like to go with. I like the simple ones because it gives you all the control. You can just start customizing what's there, adding new blocks, deleting blocks. Love Nature, Outdoor Adventure, Planet Earth, and my new favorite one is Hope. We're going to start with Hope. So we're going to skip adding our logo for now. We'll do that later. And here's where you can choose a color scheme. Like, let's say, you have your inspiration site picked out and there's a color scheme here that's pretty close to that. You might go ahead and choose it. And let's see the fonts too. So if we wanted to kind of mimic this, let's see if there's something that looks about the same. So yeah, to me, I think this one looks pretty close. I think that font looks, I think it's actually the same font. But don't worry, you don't have to make that decision now. You can always change all the type later. So I'm going to click on Continue. You can go ahead and skip this stuff. You don't need to do that. And then I'm going to click on Submit and Build My Website. So from here, it just takes a few minutes. It's pulling in all the pages. It's kind of building the site out for us so that we can start customizing it. So it's finished. I'm just going to click on View Your Website. So this is what it's going to look like for people when they come to visit it. We have a nice big hero section with a headline button. We have all these different sections, and they're all very easy to edit. So the way we do it, we're going to go right up to Edit with Elementor. Okay, so here we are inside of the Elementor dashboard, and you can see right away we've got two different overall sections here. So on the right, we have what I call the stage. This is where all the different elements are. And over here on the left, we have our sidebar. This is where all the different elements live. So if we want to take a video, we would just grab that and we would drop it right into place where we want it. And then we can do the same thing with a button. Super easy to do. So I'm going to right click and delete both of these elements. We do not need them. But the way it generally works is anything you want to edit over here, you click on it, then you go to the sidebar and you edit it over here. But when we go and look at our wireframe, we have a very distinct two-column layout for the hero, right? We have a blank section over here on the left and an image over here on the right. So the problem is that's not the layout we have here. So rather than try to like retrofit the sections that they do give us, I'm just going to make this really easy and start deleting all of these sections, and then we're going to add new blocks in. So we're just going to go section by section and click the little X over and over again until all of our sections are gone. We have a blank page here, but not for long because we're going to start adding in the section blocks that we need. So again, what do we need here? We need a two-column layout that mimics this more or less. So we're going to find the right block by clicking on the little S icon right here, and then blocks. So we have all these different blocks, and I think there are literally hundreds of them. There's a ton. So sometimes it actually helps to filter them by keyword. So that's a hero section. So I'm going to type in hero and try to find something. This one looks pretty good. It's got an image over here and text over here. But I think what we really want, if we want to closely match this, it's basically a full image, not just like a small image here. It's a full image top to bottom. So let's see what we got for that. I think this right here is about what we're looking for. So I'm just going to click that, then import block. And by the way, you're not bound by whatever this gives you too. If you see another section that you think will be a better way of displaying this content, go for it. I just want to show you how to really closely stick with what we've got. Okay, so now it's going to be our job to customize this top section to have this overall layout and this overall style. Okay, so I'm just going to grab our text here and type it into our editor. So that's how you edit the words, but what about the style? Because obviously it's too big, it doesn't look great right now. So the way we edit the style, we just go up to style right up here, and we go down to typography. And I'm happy with the font, but if you wanted to change the font, under family is where you do that. And then there are literally thousands of Google fonts here. So find whatever one you like. There's so many styles, there's no excuse for your website not to feel very unique to your business that way. And then for size, we can just play around with it till it looks about how we want it to. I think that's pretty good. And we can do things like weight. You know, right now it's on bold, but we can make it lighter if we wanted to do that. I'm just going to put it back to default. And then transform. Here's where we can make it all uppercase, or we can make the first word of every letter capitalized. And I think we'll go with that. And then line height is something interesting. So I think there's a little too much space between the lines right now. So let's go ahead and make that a little tighter. And I am going to play around with the size just briefly to make it a little bit tighter. There we go. And let's take a look at our inspiration site to see what the text looks like for the subheadline and for the button. So you'll notice the button has this like pill shape to it. It's not a rectangle. So let's see what we can do about that. Let's go back to our site. I'm going to make this text slightly bigger. I'm going to go to typography, and I think I'm going to make this in the Poppins font. I think that is more in line with our inspiration site. And we'll make the text slightly bigger as well. That looks pretty good. Now for the button. So to style a button, we just click on it, and you can set the text right here. So it could be, book today, whatever you want it to be. You set your link right here. So here's where you type in whatever web address you want the button to link to. But now let's go up to style, and I'm going to change the font. I'm going to go to typography. We'll change that to Poppins as well. And remember, we need to get rid of the rectangle shape and make it more of a circle on the sides. So we go down to where it has all those border controls here. We're going to up the value here all the way around until it gets to where we need it to be. And of course, you can change the color to anything you want it to be. You can even do a gradient, which I think looks pretty cool. So we could choose like a nice blue color, and then maybe a purple color right here. And then you can play around with the angle to make it look however you want it to look. I think that's looking pretty good. Now, let's go back here. So what you'll notice on this site, one of the things I picked up from it, it's got these really soft kind of gradient backgrounds to it. It's not quite white, but it's not really blue. Like, it's very subtle. So I was able to find an image like that. Now, the way we change the background, now we're changing the background of this column. This one we'll deal with in a minute. We have to put another picture there. But for the background here, we're going to choose the column. We're going to go to Style. Now, you've got lots of choices here. We can do classic. We could do, just click here and you can choose any color you want for the background. You could even do a gradient or a slideshow of different images. But let's go back to classic. And I'm going to reset. I'm going to get rid of that color. But we're going to put an image here. So choose image. Here's where you just have the file of the image you want to use. And you just drag it from your desktop right into the stage here. But I've already got one I'm going to select. So there we go. It's a nice mimic to what's going on here, just nice and subtle. But now let's talk about this image over here. So first of all, we don't need this little block here. So I'm just going to click on the X and then it goes away. But I think right here what we need is an image of a really happy dog in an office, right? So let's choose the column here. We'll go to Style and choose Image. So you've got some options here. You've got a lot of free images. You've got all these free stock images. So I'm just going to type in dog and see what they find for us. Lots of good stuff, or you can pay for a stock image. But I want something specific here. We want a dog in an office, right? So I've been playing around a lot lately with ChatGPT for image generation, and it's pretty incredible. So I just typed in here, a happy dog running through an office towards the camera, and it gave me this image, which looks great. So I'm gonna go back to our site, and I'm gonna go to Media Library because I already have this image in here. Just click on that and then select. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. And anytime you ever actually want to get a true preview of what your site's going to look like without all of this and all these kind of extra boxes around everything, just collapse the sidebar by clicking that arrow. So I think this is looking pretty good so far. And the way we do the rest of the page is the same way. So what section do we have next? We have basically a headline with a little text box over here. So what do? We just click on the little S icon right here, blocks. I'm going to type in text here and just try to get ones that are just text only. So I feel like this is perfect right here. And then import block. Then all we do, again, we grab the text over here and we pop it in right here by clicking on it and pasting it. And of course it's way too big, so we're going to style it by going to Style, Typography, and let's just go ahead and make it about that size. And we'll paste our text over here as well. And what do we have next? We have this kind of section with 3 different benefits with an image above each. So let's go and we'll click the S icon again, blocks. And there's nothing that says benefits here, but they do have features or services. So I'm going to type in services and see what it comes up with here. Let's try features instead. Okay, I think this one will do nicely. So I'm just going to click there, import block. Cool, then it's just a matter of customizing this with our own images. And if we go to our inspiration site, maybe we want to have a section that's kind of dark like this and has this overall look to it. So we're just going to click on the section itself, make sure it's highlighted. Then we'll go to Style and background type. We will give this a dark blue color, similar to what we found on our inspiration site. So, and by the way, whenever you find a color that you want to use again, all you have to do is click on the little plus icon here, and then it saves it for you. So you can just grab it later. So obviously we've got a bit of a situation here where the text is not readable. So all we're going to do, we're going to click on the column here. We'll go to Style, Background Type, and we're going to make the background of this column white. And then we'll paste in our actual text here. And let's go ahead and make that smaller so it's easier to fit in there. So we'll go to Typography and we'll just eyeball it about there. I think that's looking pretty good. So now rather than having to make those little changes across these, here's another trick. Let's just right click on the column, copy, and we'll go over here and we'll right click, paste style. And same thing here, right click, paste style. And then to carry over the text edit we did here, we'd right click over here, copy, paste style, and then right there again. And we'll go ahead and pop our text in over here on these other 2. And then one thing you'll notice is there's this white bar on these two because this has 3 lines of text and these have 2. So all we need to do is align everything to the top of these. Right now it's like aligned in the middle. So we'll click on the first column under layout, vertical alignment, let's just do top. And then we would do the same thing here and the same thing here. Cool, then it's just a matter of clicking on each image and then click on choose image. And now we're gonna put in the image that we want. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Oh, so this section somehow ended up underneath this one. Easy to fix. All we got to do is grab this section right here and just drag it up to where you want it to go and release. All right, cool. So what section do we have next? We have basically an image on the right, headline, text, and a couple more benefits. So let's see what we've got for that. Let's go down, we click on the S icon and then blocks. And I'm just going to take a minute to try to find the right block for this. Okay, so I was not able to find something that's perfect, but this is actually a good thing because I can show you how you can customize it even further to make it what you need it to be. So I think this one is as close as we're going to get. So I'm going to click right here and then import block. Okay, so we've got this right here. So all we're really missing is this part right here where we have an icon and a headline and a little description underneath it. So let's go ahead and add that right here. So we're going to right click, delete the button because we don't need that. We're going to go up to this grid. And remember, this is where all the widgets live. These are all the elements you can drag and drop over here. So what we need here is a 2-column layout underneath this. The way we do that is we have to drag a container element over. So take the container and we're going to drag it right underneath here. And we're going to set the direction by clicking this arrow that's going to the right. What that means is if we drag in 2 different elements, they're going to go next to each other. If we did the down arrow, if we drag 2 elements, they would stack top to bottom. Does that make sense? So click on the right icon. Then we'll go back up to where the widgets are. I'm going to type in icon, and icon box is what we're looking for. So I'm going to drag that right over here, and we'll change our text to what we need it to be. And in order to change the icon itself, we just click on an icon library and you just find whatever icon works the best to sell the concept. Click on insert, but obviously we just have 1 here. We need 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click here, duplicate. Okay, so I think this is going to look better if everything is more or less left justified rather than centered here. So I'm going to choose our first one. I'm going to go under style and alignment, left. And let's go ahead and change our icon color while we're at it, just to kind of match our blue that we've been working with. And I'm going to go ahead and save that color while we're here. Remember, click the plus icon to save colors. And to me, there's a little too much space between the icon and the text. So let's go with spacing. Let's tighten that up a bit. And change our text here. And then to apply these changes that we made over to this one, we're just going to right-click copy, then right-click paste style. And then we'll change our content here and change our icon as well. And we'll go ahead and change the rest of our content too, starting with our headline. And we'll go ahead and make that a little smaller. Go up to style, typography, and let's just eyeball it to where it looks nice. I think that looks pretty good. Now, if we take a look at our inspiration site, this is kind of what we're trying to mimic here. So we've got that really soft gradient color in the background, and we've got this kind of style of photo where it has rounded corners, a white border, a little bit of a shadow behind it. You can see the image is kind of tilted a little bit. So let's see how to do all that. Going back to our site, we're going to choose the section, and we're going to go to style, and under background image, I'm just going to choose image, and I'm going to choose the same soft gradient that we have up top. Then I'm going to select this image and then go to choose image, and I'm going to bring this one in. And then if we go to style, there's a lot we can do here. We can change the height of this. We can make it kind of a little bit taller, and you'll see that it's stretching it out. But the way we fix that, just make it the height you want it to be. And then under object fit, choose cover. Then it makes it the right dimension so it's going to fit perfectly. Then let's go down to where it says border type, and we'll add the white border that we saw. So just click on solid, and then we're just going to start playing around with the size of the border. That looks good to me. We're going to change the color of it to white. And then border radius, remember it had kind of rounded corners. So we're just going to raise it to about 21. I think that looks good. And then you remember it had kind of a shadow behind it to kind of make it pop out a bit. So we're just going to go to box shadow, turn it on, and you can play around with these values if you want to. I might just make the blur a little bit bigger. But what if we wanted it to be kind of rotated like we saw in our example? So we would just go up to advanced. Don't be worried by that, it's not that advanced. And then just go to transform and then rotate. And then you can just kind of play around with it until it looks good to you. Something like that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so if we go starting from the top, scrolling down, I think we did a pretty good job not only bringing in all the different elements from our wireframe, but also really taking inspiration from that site and giving it a personality that fits as well. And then you would just do the same thing going down for all the different sections, just add them one at a time. But we're not done yet because there's one more thing you have to do before you can really send the site out into the world, because over half of people coming to your site are going to be coming from a mobile device. So we have to make sure it looks good for those browsers too. And the good news is when you're using these pre-built blocks, most of that work has already been taken care of for you, but we still do need to do a reality check. Some things look a little wonky. So we're going to go down to where it says responsive mode, right down here in the bottom left. Then choose the smartphone icon right up here. So this is what it's going to look like on mobile. So again, if you want that true view of it, you can just collapse this. And that's really what it's going to look like. So right away, this text is too big. I would definitely make that a bit smaller. So all we have to do is click on the text, go to style, and then typography. So any change you make, you just want to make sure you're seeing this little mobile icon next to it. What that tells you is that whatever change you're about to make is only going to apply on mobile. So everything will look exactly the same as you left it on desktop. So let's just go ahead and make this the size we want. I think that looks pretty good. There's too much space between the lines though, so remember line height is how we control that to eyeball it to where it looks good. Now one thing I'm seeing here, so we're not seeing the dog picture really at all, and the reason is there's nothing in that column. All we have there is a background image, and a background image doesn't take up physical space. So we have to put something there that's going to take up a little bit of space for us. So let's go back up to the grid, and I'm going to find it's called a spacer. So I'm going to drag the spacer right on in here. And that basically, it's like a blank object that doesn't look like anything, but it gives it some space. Then we can drag this value around to kind of make it as big or as small as we want. So I think that looks pretty good. Now, if we just scroll down, we're just looking for anything that looks weird. So, okay, for instance, there's no space between these different elements. We're going to add some space. It's pretty easy to do. We're just going to choose this first column right here. We're going to go to advanced, and we're going to give it some margin between these different elements. So under margin, we're going to unlink the values, okay? Because otherwise, if we made a change to this one, it would change it to all of them. We just want to change the value on the bottom. So just 20 on the bottom. Cool, that already looks better. Now we'll choose this one, go to advanced, and we'll do another 20 on the bottom. Cool, that gives us our space we need. Going down. Now, maybe there's an issue here. Maybe you don't need an image on mobile. Sometimes it's good to get rid of things that are just there for more decoration. So if we wanted to get rid of it on mobile and keep it on desktop, you can either click on the element or the column, doesn't really matter. Go to advanced, responsive, and then we can say hide on mobile. So it just grays it out here, but when you collapse this to get the true view of what it's going to look like, it's just gone. But it's definitely still there waiting for you on desktop. So now we're just going to close out of here, and you definitely want to click on update. Make sure that you're saving your work as you go. Okay, so far we've edited the homepage. Now the way we're going to edit the rest of the pages is just click on the little preview changes icon down here, and then just click on the next page you want to go to, edit with Elementor, and then you do it the exact same way. You can start deleting blocks, you can start customizing blocks, moving them around, anything you want to do, you already know how to do it. So just move from page to page, adding each section that you've been given on your wireframe here. But now you'll remember when we're back on our site, we do still have this header section up here with someone else's logo. It's hard to see it here because of the light color, but we need to be able to change the header. So this is, again, easy to do. All we're going to do is we're going to click up on this icon here in the top left, click on exit, And we're going to go down to Appearance, Customize, and then click on the header builder. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We have a logo up here, which is here. We have a primary menu here, and we have a button here. So the way this works is you can move stuff around. You could move the logo over here if you wanted to. I mean, there's a ton of different things you can do. I'm going to go ahead and move the logo back. I'm going to remove the button. Maybe we don't need that. So let's click on the logo here. And it says that the logo is set from the transparent header sections because this is a transparent header, meaning it's laying on top of the content we already have. So we're just going to click on Customize Transparent Header, and we'll change the logo by clicking on Change Image right here. And then you just drag your logo right into place and then choose Image. Then you can change the size of it under Logo Width to just eyeball it to where it looks good to you. I think that looks pretty good. And then over here for your primary menu, if you want to change the font of that or anything, you just click on it, go to Design, and then you go all the way down and you can change the colors here as well. But I'm going to change the font, so go to Menu Font, and I would just type in Poppins. I think that's the one we've been using. You can make it bigger if you wanted to, smaller, whatever you want. And then just click on Publish.
Now, I will say that Reloom is great for getting you started with your content, but it doesn't always get it just right. You know, sometimes it gives you way more sections than are needed, and sometimes they're the wrong sections to begin with, but I can help you out here. You're officially invited to my free masterclass where I'm going to show you exactly what sections and pages you need as a service business and what's best to leave out entirely. So just go to wesmcdowell.com/training or find the link in the description below to save your seat. This is the perfect first step to getting started with your new site before you actually build anything. So again, go to wesmcdowell.com/training and I'm going to send you your access right away.